in here. All right. Let's see. Share screen. All right. Can everyone see that okay? Good. All right. Everybody can hear me okay? Good.
Yes.
All good.
All right. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, everybody, thank you for coming to our 2020 parent meeting. Initially, we probably weren't sure if we were ever going to have this parent meeting, but thankfully for the MHSAA, we are going to start the season off tomorrow. So thank you for coming. Again, I have this on record. So after the meeting, if there's anybody that wasn't able to make it, I will try to share this on our Team Snap app, so you can share that link with anybody from there. So we'll get going here. So just want to introduce myself. I'm the head coach, David Aerosmith. This is my contact information. This will be our staff for the year. So our varsity and JV staff together. Again, we practice together. Coach Hass, most of you know Coach Hass, is our line and D-line coach. Coach Brown, who'll be our varsity defensive coordinator. We have Coach Pillar, who will be our JV head coach this year. Denny Regan, who is helping out at running backs with the varsity. You got Coach Ship, who will be our quarterbacks coach, and then Clayton Meldrum, who will be running the JV offense. Our freshman staff is fairly new this year. A couple coaches that coached with me when I was over at Kalamazoo United. Joey Giddings, who's the head freshman coach. I believe he's on tonight. Zach Payton, who is going to work with defense alongside Pete Lawrence. Pete was on our 8th grade staff, I believe, last year. So we got him up with working with the freshmen to give those freshmen a familiar face to look at. And then our 8th grade staff is Bill Yates, who's our head coach. And then helping him out is going to be Matt Irway. Sorry, got a message from one of the guys saying they're having issues. So that kind of lays out our staff for the year. As most of you probably know, there is not a Rocket League this year. They decided to cancel all the Kalamazoo Valley Rocket programs and schools associated with that. As far as I know, so that's 7th on down. That will not be having a football season this year. So just a little bit of background. Sorry, working here. A little background on me so you guys can get to know me a little bit as I get to know you over the course of the year. I grew up in Gobles. I graduated from Gobles in 2004. I was a three sport athlete. And then after that, I decided to go to Albion College, play football there, get a degree in exercise science. Also played football. I was a fullback there for 4 years. Also played a few special teams here and there. From there, I started coaching. I started coaching in 2008 at Gobles, my hometown. While I was doing that, I went to Western, got my master's degree in coaching sport performance. I coached at Gobles for 3 years, and then I got hired by Kalamazoo Christian to be an assistant coach over there for a while. And then most of you, as you know, we formed with Kalamazoo Hackett to form one team just because numbers were low. That was turned into Kalamazoo United. I've coached there from 2011 to 2019, where last year I was the interim head coach for Kalamazoo United. And we lost in the regional finals last year. And then this year I went through the interview process here at Madawan High School and was happy to be hired as Madawan's head coach. So that's kind of my background as far as like football and stuff. I did coach track at Kalamazoo Christian for 6 years. And then I also coached JV girls basketball a couple of years while I was at Goble. So I kind of got around a little bit as far as my coaching background goes, but just kind of give you guys a better idea on who I am and where I come from. Again, small town guy. My coaching philosophy, most of the kids know this after we met over the summer. My job as a head coach, that I want to do, and I think it's most coaches' jobs, is I want to give them the best football experience possible. I love football. Football gave me a lot growing up, and I just want to be able to give it back to the kids to prepare them for life outside of sports. So I have my core values as a coach. Obviously, it takes time and they shift over years, but I think I got a good base here. So the 3 F's, I think every player should have is faith, family, and friends. Team service, community involvement, anything we can do as a team to be a part of the community and help them out and serve others. That's the best thing you can do, with being a part of the team is help serve other people and help them out. Kind of others focus is what I call it. Second one is you got to have fun, fun in football. That comes with attitude and effort. I mean, if you come in with a bad attitude and poor effort, it probably won't be much fun. So, we can always control those. So I think that's important. Number 3, academics. You're a student first and athlete second. So you have to make sure that you're taking care of your stuff in the classroom so you can participate on the field. And one thing I always ask kids, and this is one thing that was taught to me as a coach growing up, is be your best self. Athletes, players in general can see when you're not being real, or if you're trying to fake somebody that you're not, So that's what I try to tell the kids also, just be who you are and don't try to be anybody else. Some people, you connect with, other people you won't, and that's okay. Just be the best version of yourself and give your best effort. And then the last one, again, another part of the thing being a coach is just make an impact. Try to make an impact on somebody's life. I work in a fitness industry, and if I can help change your life by getting them in shape, or just to change one thing about their diet so where they can improve themselves, I've done my job and it makes me feel great. So if you have an opportunity to change somebody's life or make some sort of an impact, even if it's just a small thing, try to do that, because you never know, you could be the difference for somebody. So those are, again, my 5 coaching values, and then kind of my mission statement for a football coach. All right. Before we get into anything else, just kind of want to give everybody an update on, the coronavirus and kind of how MHSAA is handling this, and how we're handling this at practice. So you guys have probably seen this a lot on MLive, some of the news sources that have brought out the stipulations on what we can do. If you have any questions, you can always go to MLive. Here's the website. It kind of gives you the announcements, the updates, this link right here. So prior to practice, this is kind of what it's going to look like. All athletes upon arrival need to have a mask on as soon as they step out of the car and come over and get their temperature taken. As soon as that wasn't pushed as much over the summer, but now that we actually got a football season, we want to do everything we can to preserve this football season, because nothing's guaranteed yet. And I'll get into that. So when they get there, they're going to get their temperature taken, and then they're also going to fill out a questionnaire checklist. I believe it's a series of 5 or 6 questions that the coaches will ask just to make sure, that they haven't been anywhere. And we get the detected if they happen to have a fever or something like that. We can get them sent home and get taken care of. We are going to really enforce the social distancing at all times. The kids over the course of the week are probably going to get sick of it. Again, over the summer, it got a little bit, we got tight with our conditioning a little bit, but they're going to hear us yelling pretty much every minute. If you're within 6 feet of somebody, if you're not on the field, we're going to be like, hey, spread out. One of the coaches at Mattawan, I believe was a cross-country coach, was over at Western, and he said Western every minute before the mat canceled was constantly yelling at kids to, stay spread apart, and we're going to do the same thing. Again, we want to give our kids the best chance to have a football season as much as possible. So we're going to avoid the social distancing. For water bottles, make sure every athlete has their own personal water bottle and that we're not sharing. Again, make sure it's labeled. They bring it to practice. If they need to bring a big jug or a couple water bottles or anything they can do, that'd be great. Our athletic trainer, I don't believe, is going to get there until Tuesday. So I don't know if we'll have water jugs out there to refill. And actually, we're still working on the process of how we're going to work that. If we're going to have our trainer fill those up for the kids, or if we're going to have the kids do that themselves. Again, we just want to make sure we're doing the social distancing piece and not keeping our hands off as much stuff as possible when we're not on the field. We're going to do equipment cleaning every week. So once we get into kind of the 2-a-day practices, we'll probably ask the kids for help because there's a lot of pads and stuff that are out there that need to be sanitized and wiped down. So again, maybe an offensive lineman or 2, maybe wipe down agiles, running backs, and skill guys working down hand shields, just in between practices and to finish practice for the day. Full pads are allowed in week 2. So when we start week 2, we'll be full go for full pads. This week will be helmets only, just to get acclimated for kids that may not have been at conditioning. It'll give us a first week to see how things go and get kids going. Like I said, the football season is not fully guaranteed yet, even though we are starting tomorrow. The MHSAA is meeting on August 20th to decide on competition. So they're going to continue to look at the numbers and see how this first week and a half of camp goes. And they're going to meet, I believe that's Thursday, to kind of give a final whether we're going to have a season. If we have a season, is it going to be shortened to 6 games? So that's still decided. So again, with that being decided, we have to prepare like we have a 9-game season coming up. Okay. So we're going to have to do our job as coaches and as athletes while we're out there to give our best shot to make sure we stay prepped enough. So, when they give us the go, hey, you guys got 9 games, we're ready to go for that. And just a couple other ways. These are just ways that people have, done it. Obviously, you've seen the MAC just recently close down their football season. Ohio switched their season up a little bit. They actually shortened the season to 6 games, the last I knew, and they're allowing everybody to make the playoffs. So again, they're just shortening up their schedule. You saw some of the Lansing schools may have closed down their fall season for now. Ivy Leagues have closed down their fall season. Texas is another example. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. From what I've heard, they're kind of offsetting seasons with the bigger schools and the smaller schools. So they're allowing the smaller schools to start first, and they're kind of pushing the bigger schools back and starting them later, just so, not everybody's all going at once. So there's a bunch of ways it's been done, and I think it's going to be done successfully. Again, it's just our job to try to give us the best chance to have a season by social distancing, wearing masks, when we're not out there. I have this mask. I know a lot of players do. It's one that you can slide right over your head, wear around your neck, and then when you're not on the field, you can pull it up and kind of keep it over your mouth and nose, again, as best you can. Just anything and any little thing we can do to help. So these are the practice guidelines that we will be following. We'll have footballs and helmets, agility equipment, bags, ropes, balls, all that stuff, hand shields, blocking sleds. All our skill work can include 7-on-7 handoffs, QB center exchanges, where over the summer that wasn't allowed. Any team group or positional meetings, everything's got to be done outdoors. We can't have kids in the school right now and use locker rooms. So when we hand out equipment, guys are going to have to make sure they either keep it in their car or take it home with them, and they always have that with them because we're not going to be able to get in the school at all. I've been advised we got to keep everybody out. So when we do helmet handout, we're going to have to bring all the helmets down to the field and then hand those out to everybody from there. Again, all this, like I mentioned earlier, all equipment should be sanitized frequently as much as possible. And then as far as games go, I'll update everybody when I know more and when they come out with, what they decide on competition. There are some stuff already, some things already out there where they're going to limit fans. They're going to increase the sideline by, I think it was 30 yards or so. So they're going to go from the 10 to the 10 for the sideline box as opposed, from the 30 or the 25 and the 25. So those are just some of the things that they're thinking about doing for game time. But again, like I said, we have to make the most of the opportunity we have and be as safe as possible so we can allow these guys to have, especially the seniors, a football season. If you haven't already, make sure that you sign up or your player or athlete signs up for Team Snap. That is our main source of communication for our team for high school down to freshmen. So your player signs up for this, have them shoot me an email or Coach Brown an email. We'll get you signed up, and then you can add as many family members to your son's account as you want. So like if I send out a team text, everybody will get it. If I send out a team email, everybody can get that. Any scheduling updates will be done on there. Practice updates will be done on there. And we'll try to keep that updated as much as possible. And also like any files that'll be sent out. So like your team physicals, the MHSAA consent forms, all of that is also on Team Snap. So if you're having a hard time finding that or locating that in an email that may have been sent out, you can just go check under files and return to play. And there should be a folder in there with those forms in there. So again, it's imperative that we do that just so we can kind of keep everybody up to date as far as schedules go. And when I get into schedules, I'll talk more about kind of the JV and freshman schedule. It's gonna be a little crazy. Again, requirements for participation, we've been sending these out. Must have a physical on file. The MHSAA consent form and the school consent form, I believe the school wrapped it up all into one, need to be filled out. So if you have a physical on file from last year, that physical is good. The only thing that you need to fill out and have before Monday, again, we're asking everybody to get those in Monday by 3, is the consent form from the MHSAA and the school one. I believe it's 2 pages front and back that need to be filled out and signed by both the parent and the athlete, and then sent in to Sue Jakes at the school. Again, you can take a picture with your phone and email it in. You can scan it, drop it off. Anything you can do to get that in before Monday at 3 o'clock. I guess there have been a couple incidences already of kind of this is just for me saying of like forgeries and stuff. So if you come to practice on Monday with your sheet in hand, unfortunately you won't be able to practice because, you know, Sue's got to make sure and check those over to make sure there's not any inconsistencies. Again, that's just for safety reasons and liability reasons. I'd hate for, you know, a kid to come in, you know, trying to get into practice, you know, because they forgot a sheet and then, you know, get in trouble or get injured or something like that. So I just want to make sure we're being safe, you know, and try to get those in as by 3 o'clock on Monday. If you don't have it in, and then just, you know, bring it or get it in, and then it's come to practice on Monday. Again, all these threes are non-negotiable. They have to be in. The third one is the participation fee. I talked to Chad Yeager a little bit about this. They're going to hold off, again, just because we are starting practice, but competition hasn't been decided on yet. They're going to talk to the administration about that and figure out what to do with that athletic fee that you guys usually have to pay. So I'll let you know more as soon as I hear from Chad. Again, football participation. You guys probably saw this from last year. There's no better game. Again, it builds so many different skills that you can use in your daily life. But obviously participation is a risk. You know, you can get injured playing football. That's just the nature of the game. It is a contact sport. Playing football can cause injuries. Some of the things you can do to help circumvent that, obviously proper diet is important. Proper sleep, you know, trying to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night is important, especially if you're, you know, going to school and studying. Exercise, you know, so even if you're playing football, trying to get out and, you know, maybe try other things. You know, guys, you may laugh, but like yoga or some meditative stuff just to calm your mind down and de-stress a little bit. You know, staying active, you know, especially these times where, you know, it's hard to maybe get into a sport, or, you know, fall is uncertain. You know, we got to stay active and stay exercising and keep our bodies moving as best we can. Proper, you know, I talked about proper diet and nutrition. I have a handout. If anybody is interested, feel free to email me or anything like that. I attended a Michigan U of M clinic on nutrition a couple years ago, and I put this handout in a PDF document, basically a PowerPoint on how to properly feed your athlete and fuel your athlete. So if you're unsure, you know, as a parent, you know, when I'm sure my dad didn't know when I was growing up either on what to feed your athlete or how to properly diet your athlete. This is a great way. It kind of breaks down how much protein your athlete should have, how many carbs you should have, you know, the different ways you can fuel your body. So if you're interested in that PDF file, let me know, shoot me an email, and I can send that out to everybody on here. Communication ladder. Most of you know all this, but again, just we got to cover it. If there's any issues as far as playing time, or you feel like you're not getting the reps, the one thing I always ask the player to do is talk to your positional coach first. If nothing gets settled there, then they'll come to me. You know, the coach and the player will come to me. We'll try to sort things out. If nothing's there, then we'll get the, you know, parent will have you come in. We'll sit down with the positional coach, myself, and the player. We'll all talk it out and make sure to see where we're at with that. If nothing from there gets handled, and then we'll go and bring in the AD if needed. But that's kind of the chain of command. You know, if you have an issue, try to address it with your positional coach first. If that doesn't work, come to me. We'll talk about it. If not, if those two things don't work, then we ask parents. Then you guys kind of come in, step in. Obviously, part of the growing process of being a young adult is learning to solve problems on your own. So trying to come up and talk to your coach one-on-one. Again, if you don't feel comfortable and you want to bring a friend, you know, I always encourage that. But try to answer any questions or ask anything that you can by yourself. And again, if nothing can get solved, or if it's just a really big dispute, then we ask, you know, the parents to come in. But, you know, like I said, it's just one of those growing processes that we need to learn how to do. So we'll do that. And then never assume anything, you know, like why you're not playing, always ask. And then when it comes to injury, you know, progression, talk to your coach, talk to your trainer, and then your doctor. You know, if anything's bad, why? Just because it's, you know, keeps records, peace of mind, and then you can't return without clearance. So make sure you keep in contact with the coach, your trainer, you know, and your doctor, and make sure we have all the paperwork necessary so your athlete, if he does get injured, can return, you know, as quickly as he can, as safely as he can. Team guidelines, you know, you guys aren't unfamiliar with these. Team first, we before me, you know, what I call others focus. Focusing on others before yourself, you know, the betterment of the team. You know, you should always think what's going to make the team better, not what's going to make my stats look good, you know. You know, part of the, you know, our job, you know, as coaches is always try to do what's, you know, best for the team, what always may not be best for you. So always try to keep that in perspective, that we're trying to do what's best for the team as players and coaches. and maybe not make ourselves look good. Bullying and hazing, I've never had any issues with this, but I know it's out there. Again, don't do it. It's one thing to pick on people, your friends, you do it. I get it. I was there. But we always want to try to build people up, like I said, trying to be your best self and make an impact on others' lives. So build those people up. Social media devices, I know that's out there. Social media bullying, making comments on other people's statuses and all that. If you're somebody that wants to play college ball one day, college coaches have people out there, I'm sure, that go out there and look at your social media account to see what stuff you've been posting. So, make sure you're doing the right things as far as your social media goes. Eligibility, must be passing 5 out of your 6 classes. Attendance, make sure you're in school all day. If you're absent, and it can't be helped, make sure you let administration know and you go through the proper channels to make sure that you take care of that. Let your coach know ahead of time, call the school, if you need a doctor's note or whatever, make sure you get that. Same thing is kind of like the vacation time. If it's unexcused absence while in school session will affect PT. So if you're just gone and there's no communication whatsoever to the coach or the school, for a day or two, that's considered, you're gone. So it's going to affect your playing time, and the reason obviously is you're not there at practice. You miss a day and then you come to practice the next day. You kind of set the example. If I was to let you play or a coach was to let you play, he gets to miss a practice, but still gets to start. So maybe I'll just start missing practice. So it's just setting the example. So if it's unexcused, that'll affect playing time as well. And then the last one is just set the example. Be the best version of yourself. I already talked about that. When in doubt, do the right thing. Take care of your buddies around you, especially your brothers on the football team. Attitude and effort will get you a long ways. So one of the things I met with the seniors over the course of the summer, we had a couple leadership meetings, and one of the things that I've done with the teams, coaches do it differently. I'm a video game nerd. Most of the seniors probably know that, but we come up with a creed, and obviously it's from a game that some of you probably know of. But what their creed was for this year is trust one another and play as a family. So that's kind of one of the things that we need to do this year as a team is trust each other, and then have that family unit. Family, forget about me, I love you. It's kind of cool. From what I heard, it was from PJ Fleck. Most of you probably know that. For young men, it's hard to talk about love, especially, your friends or your brothers on a football team. Again, I remember doing this with United a couple years ago, and there'd be sessions where we'd have guys in tears because of the impact others had on their lives and through football. And like we said on here, football is a brotherhood, and it really is, because you're friends. I'm still friends with a bunch of guys from my teams, and that's really what it's about, to love one another, play for one another. And if you can do that on a football team, I wouldn't want to be the opposite team playing against us. So if you can love each other, have each other's back always, really build that brotherhood, I think it's important. So when they decided this was, this is really cool. And then I asked them to come up with 5 different, what we call tenets or principles or beliefs to support that creed. Now what that is, they said grit was one of them. What's that mean? Be relentless, do whatever it takes, come together and have strength through adversity. As most of you already know, it's been an adverse summer. We don't know if we were playing football. We get burned out because, I'm doing all this conditioning. I don't know if even we're going to play. There's a bunch of guys that had to, fight through that adversity and continue to, battle and get in shape just because they had to prepare, for the season. So we've already had some of that adversity, and some of, next one, play smart. Do what you practice. Do what you're coached to do. Be an athlete, understand the strengths and weaknesses of your offense or defense, and when you can do that, and if you have something going wrong, you have to adapt, and attack. The third one is play fast, execution of proper technique, do what you're coached to do, and always give your best effort. Tenacity was the fourth one. Play mean and be physical at all 3 phases of the game. Even said to play like a dog. What does that mean? Just be a scrapper, get after it, do whatever it takes to win the football game, without cheating, just being a hard-nosed kid, for your teammates, the guy next to you, and to get the job done. And then the last one is pride. Don't compromise the brotherhood, do your job all the times. Did you help your team succeed? Together, everyone achieves more, is what I represent for team. And then represent your family and your community with pride and respect. That's important. You're wearing your parents' name on the back of your jersey. Well, you don't really wear them, but you got your name out there, so make sure you represent that. the name on the front of your chest with pride. Again, these are things that I met with the seniors over the summer that they put together. And this is really what they want to focus on this year. And, each day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll probably have a coach or a player, senior, just, talk about one of these things. What does it mean to play smart? Not necessarily have to relate to football, but it can be related to something outside, your job, your family, something like that. So we'll talk about those throughout the course of the season just to keep them fresh in our mind always. As far as equipment goes, I know some of you, there's maybe one or two of you that reached out as far as helmets go. You can make a purchase. I can get you to our Rydell Rep Guide to get a helmet. You just have to make sure it's nationally approved. If you're not sure if it's a nationally approved helmet, don't hesitate to ask. Then you have to make sure that those pads, especially shoulder pads and helmet, are reconditioned every year just to make sure that they're safe for your athlete to use the next year. As far as team shoes go, team colors or black and white. One thing I ask as a coach, and your coaches may not have, I know there's cool low top cleats that are made of cloth and they look fancy, make you run fast. But if you can get to a mid shoe or a high top, something that protects your foot to limit, ankle twists and sprains as much as possible, I do recommend that. Now, obviously, you don't have to if you already have your cleats, but just something that provides proper foot support and protection for your athlete. Gloves, kind of the same as shoes, team colors are black and white. Spirit gear for for this year. We're hoping to have a store opened up soon. Again, I spoke with the administration. They just, kind of waiting to hold off to see what happens here the next couple days. And then we should get to go ahead to open up our store and allow, families to purchase, spirit wear. And then just make sure that you sign up. Again, remember to sign up for Team SMAT if you haven't done that already. So this is our first week schedule, what that looks like. August 10th through the 14th will be Monday through Friday, 5 to 9 p.m. In the middle of that, we'll take a 20 to 25-minute break in between practices. 8 freshmen are going to finish up around 8:30. Allow them to get home a little bit earlier because they can't drive, with their parents. So freshmen are going to finish up about 8:30. There is no scrimmage week 2 like normal. Normally we have on Thursday a scrimmage. But again, they're trying to keep everybody safe, so they've canceled all the scrimmages for football for now. And then, again, we're just waiting for the first 3 weeks for that game on the 28th against St. Joe. And then we're not going to do any helmets until Wednesday. So, varsity, JV, freshmen, we're going to be no helmets Monday and Tuesday to start. And then Wednesday we'll do a helmet handout and get you guys suited up. And then we'll finish Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with helmets. And then that following Monday, we'll hand out shoulder pads. Then we'll get into uppers probably the first 3 days. And then as soon as we hear that we're cleared for competition, we'll get the rest of the pads out and go full bore Thursday, Friday into game week the following week. Again, I know it's a long time to practice, so we're trying to keep you guys as fresh as possible without banging bodies too much with our tactics. So again, helmets the last 3 days this week, uppers the next 3 days next week. Is kind of what that practice schedule looks like. Schedule for the season, varsity football games are going to be on Fridays. Now the JV and freshman games. Now, if you can get on the school's website and check those out, the reason these are going to be so screwy was because the MHSAA approved the 5-quarter rule. Now, what does that mean? That means your athlete is allowed to play 5 quarters throughout the course of the week. So let's say, for instance, if we have, a junior on the varsity team that may not see a ton of playing time or maybe missed a couple quarters, and we want to get that kid, some reps, on the football field in game situations, we can put him on the JV for 3 quarters, which would be played on a Saturday or a Monday. So that's what that 5-quarter rule allows. So if you take 1 snap in a quarter, that counts as a quarter. So let's say I'm a junior and I played in 2 corners, but hey, coach, I really want to get some more game reps. I haven't seen much time. Can I go in the JV? Well, absolutely. So now we can put you down in the JV and you can get 3 games at JV level. So that's kind of why everything's so screwy with the JV and freshmen. And that works. Same thing with the freshmen. Say there's, a JV guy who's not getting a ton of reps. And hey, I want to get in a couple quarters, the freshman game, you'd be able to bump them down, to that level as well. So it allows, it's really for the smaller schools that don't have as many kids that are having a hard time fielding a team, for both JV and varsity. It allows them to move some kids around, but obviously it causes a lot of extra headaches just from the aspect of, you got adds just another responsibility of keeping track who's played when and what quarters. Because you may have played just one kickoff in, say, the first quarter. That one kickoff counts as one quarter of play. So that's why the JV and freshman schedule is so screwy. There's going to be some games that are on Thursdays, some games that are on Saturdays, and then there's going to be some games that are on Mondays. Just because everybody in our conference has different days that they're able to play. So again, just try to keep up with that, and we'll, as a staff, we'll try to keep you guys as updated as possible each week when the JV and freshmen are going to play. I think most games, with the exception maybe the first week, are going to be Saturdays or Mondays. So make sure we keep that in mind. That is all I have. Is there any questions? Is there any team moms on that have any questions or anything they want to comment on?
Durham says they will only be visiting the homes of those who have not finished the 2020 census, but there is still time to fill it out on mail, phone, or to go online.
Anybody? Questions?
Hey, Coach. This is Coach Regan. Hey, nice job walking through everything. Just wanted to maybe a couple little reminders on what you said there.
Sure.
I was actually just on Amazon, and parents, you can get a 6-pack of Net Gators for $20 to $30. I would highly encourage that Net Gator style face mask that Coach showed, as opposed to a clip around the ear style.
Yep.
They're not going to, if it's around their neck the whole time, it's a lot easier just to slide it up over their face. So if you don't have those already, you can get 1 or 2 day delivery on Amazon of a 6-pack for anywhere from $20 to $30 for those Net Gators. The other thing, for all students who drive, parents, I would highly recommend, just given the water situation with everything with COVID, go spend $8 on 2 cases of water and throw it in the back of your kid's SUV or car. It's just an easy way to ensure that they've got water. Again, as Coach said, a lot of the stuff's very fluid. Not sure how we're going to be able to supply water to the players. We won't have the water horse out as we usually do, so bringing their own water is imperative. I know as a coach, I'm going to have multiple cases of water in the back of our car, so if kids don't have it, we can toss some bottles of water or whatever. But for every player that can drive, it might be warm water, but it's wet. So if we get some cases of water in everybody's trunks, I think we'll be in a lot better position. So that was all, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, I have a question. Face shields.
Yep.
Are those going to be supplied? I've ordered face shields already for his helmet. Are those going to be supplied, or is it all right if I just order them? Is that okay?
Are you talking the ones that go around the face mask?
Yes, exactly.
We don't have those right now. We're not supplying those at the moment. But if that's something that they are able to wear and can breathe okay, I can definitely encourage the kids to wear those if they want. I don't see any problem with that. And the face shields, I believe he's talking about, there's ones that have been sold online if anybody's interested. I believe they attach the face mask themselves, so they don't have to wear a mask over their face. Is that what you're talking about? Is that Tony?
Yeah, that is correct. It is a full face shield for the entire front of the helmet of the face guard that covers his eyes out. So when they're on the field, they don't necessarily have to have the mask, and so there's not from the standpoint of the spray from the person in front
right.
of him, it actually deflects it. So that way when he gets off, he can wash it down or pour water on it to rinse it off, that type of thing. But I've already ordered a couple of them. They were only like full shield was $14.
Okay. No, I will make a note of that, and actually I'll talk to my administration and see what they say. Maybe we can get some for our team. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it. Anyone else?
And what I will do, Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach. What I will do if the administration is kind of slow on it, I will make a contribution to the athletic fund for shields.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. That'd be great. I will. I'll let you know. What the administration says, and we can go from there. But yeah, donations are definitely welcome, and thank you.
Hey, Coach. This is JJ Hoffman, Parker's mom.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to send a note out. I've reached out to any email address I could find off of Team Snap for varsity parents.
Okay.
But if a varsity parent could add their email address to Team Snap, once we get confirmation on competition, we'll be starting to plan our team dinners, and we need a lot of help with that. So just please add your email address if you haven't already to your player's profile in Team Snap.
Yep. And then she'll send you guys out an email too. She's already sent one out. It's just kind of that. Obviously, dinners are going to look a little bit different this year, but we are still going to try to have those as normal. They'll just probably take place outside, weather pending. So yeah, please add your emails to the Team Snap. Thanks. Derek, I see you have a hand up. Do you have a question or anything I can help you with?
Yes, Coach. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, yeah, just want to verify that for the next 2 weeks we're having the two-a-days, correct?
Correct. Yes. So that'll be the next 2 weeks, 2 days from 5 to 9. Yep.
Okay. Any concern about the mouth guards with our players and the contact with them, and I assume they definitely have to be attached to the face
Yep.
mask. Correct?
No, actually, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. So we are still handing out mouth guards, but I am asking players to please not cut them off. I know that's a cool thing to do, is to cut them off and put them in your helmets and all that stuff. But we are asking to have players keep all the mouth guards attached to their helmet. So again, they're not flying everywhere. You're not dropping them on the ground, and we're losing them. So if you like your own personal mouth guard, one that you can get from a store, just make sure it's something that you can attach to your helmet, and then you're not, again, putting it all over your helmet, dropping it on the ground, touching guys with your mouthpiece in your hand, all things like that. So absolutely, Derek, thank you for that.
Okay.
So yes.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions or concerns? Anything as far as football goes? All right. Again, I know I'm excited to get going tomorrow, as well as the other coaches are. Again, we're going to just do our best job and play everything by ear and do everything we can to prepare. And whatever happens, but we'll be ready when it does. So.
Coach,
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. This is Grant Dyga's mom.
Hey,
And
how are you?
being that we're newbies, do freshmen get helmets, or bring their own?
Nope, freshmen get helmets. So everybody from the varsity down to freshmen all get school-issued football helmets.
So, but he needs his own pads and cleats.
So
Is that all we're responsible for?
Nope. So everything from the school, from varsity down to freshman, is supplied by the school. Actually, I take that back. Everything from the varsity down to the 8th grade is supplied from the school, since it's a school-sponsored sport. So we have helmets, shoulder pads, pants, game uniforms, practice uniforms, all the pads. Now, there are some kids I know that will go out and buy their own personal girdle. They may buy a rib protector undergarment for their shoulder pads, something they can wear to give themselves a little more padding, shin pads, extra knee pads, anything like that. I know kids have done in the past, but we do issue out, all pads.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. If there is anything, like if you do want to purchase your own personal helmet or personal shoulder pads, for them to wear, again, just make sure it's nationally certified, and then it's something that gets reconditioned every year, again, just for safety reasons. Anyone else? Any coaches? Any other comments from coaches? No. Well, again, if I missed anything, or if you guys have any personal questions that you want to just shoot me an email or private text through TeamSnap, please feel free to do so. Again, I can go back to my contact information here at the beginning. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me or Coach Pillar or Coach Giddings. All our emails and stuff are on here. They're also in TeamSnap. That's a great kind of all-inclusive service to contact coaches or other players. So with that being said, thanks thanks for coming. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to starting tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Again, if you can get there early by 4:30 just to get the testing process done a little bit quicker, much appreciated. Again, make sure you wear your face masks pre and post practice. And I will plan on seeing all players and athletes tomorrow. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and thanks for joining.
Thanks, Coach. Nice job.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
You are welcome.